do 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 do.
That is the basic troubleshooting step, honestly.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times working in support jobs over the years, I've spent like an hour on something being like, why doesn't this work? And all these different troubleshooting steps, and then being like, oh, hang on. I didn't turn it off and on again when I first started. And then I try it and it works. So at one point I had a little note up that said, turn it off and on again first. Just doesn't take that much time, and it really solves a lot of problems, and it's great.
It's a good tip to have just like on a post-it note next to your monitor.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like I've trained my parents to do this to some extent, where they're, I don't know, they call me for tech support. So here's a bit of a side story here. So I'm the oldest of 9 kids, and the oldest of 6 boys who all like technology. And somehow I'm the only one of the 9 children that has any aptitude for this stuff at all.
Well, you've been doing it longer than them.
Well, yes. But some of my siblings are like 25, and they have no ability with. They call me for help with their stuff.
Well, I mean, you can't expect them to know everything about computers.
Well,
I'm 25, and I talk to people about computers because I don't like when I run into a problem. Guess who I call? Not my brother, but I do I do ask other people for help.
Well, sure, but I mean, we're talking basic things here. Like, how should I try to get rid of a virus that's on my computer? Like, step 1 escapes these people.
What would you do? What's your first step?
Well, first I would make sure that I had an antivirus program running.
Right.
And I do, so that I'd run an antivirus sweep. Done.
Do you count the Windows Defender as an antivirus program?
At this point, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
It's been actually great for me. I haven't had any viruses on this Windows install in the years I've had it running.
Okay.
But that might just be part of the fact that, too, I'm smart with how I browse. I've taught my wife how to be smart. My kids aren't dumb so far, anyway. Like, knock on wood as hard as I possibly can, because they're going to do something stupid here eventually.
Oh, guaranteed they will.
But
eventually.
I've really tried to drill into them. Do not download things from weird websites, especially if it ends with .exe. And they've been like, okay.
Okay.
And that's like 90% of it.
Never put credit card information into a website that ends with .ru.
Oh gosh, no. Anything but .com. Just .com. That's it. That's all you need right now. You guys are 10. So anyway, what was I going to say? The point is, my parents call me for help with everything, even though, again, they've got kids at home that have no aptitude for this for reasons I don't understand. And I've trained them to the point where they will go through troubleshooting steps. If they're having trouble with the Wi-Fi, they'll turn off the router for 30 seconds and turn it back on again. And that does seem to fix it most of the time. And that's been good. So at the very least, they have some basic troubleshooting steps they can do before they call me for every little thing.
You're no longer the first line of defense.
Nope. I've worked pretty hard at that. And trust me, it takes work. So anyway, tech support. Tech support for the family is a great thing. What you really need to do, honestly, in your life is, if you know things about tech, keep it hidden from your family. Don't let anybody know.
If you are willing to do tech support, tell them I'm only going to do it for the products that I also own. So if I have a Samsung and you buy an iPhone, I'm not touching it.
That's not a bad idea, but that's hard. But the average parent doesn't get that. They're like, my phone's broken. Well, right? I just have a phone. You know how to fix phones. It's like, well, you have an iOS device and mine is Android. I don't know what that means. Just fix it.
Maybe. But I feel like if you can teach them that off and on, that can change something in the arbitrariness of fixing technology, I think they can understand that there's a difference between 2 different brands.
Yeah, I suppose. I'm giving them too little credit.
Yes.
All right, fair enough. That's also a viable strategy. Because, yeah, it really sucks to troubleshoot something that you don't own and have no experience with.
Yeah.
Because then you have to learn how that works and then start with the troubleshooting, and it just adds a whole nother forever onto the process.
I'm tempted to start calling you now when I need tech support for a product I know you never use. Like, can you fix my BlackBerry?
I actually had a BlackBerry for a while. I might be able to do some things.
Oh, really? You think you could fix my broken BlackBerry?
I mean, assuming it's not a hardware problem, maybe.
I put an arrow through it.
Oh, well, in that case, no.
I've never owned a BlackBerry, so I've actually also only ever seen one person with one.
So not a good seller in Australia, it would seem.
No, I don't think so. I think everyone's pretty much just like Samsung or Apple. I mean, you get people with like Nokias and what's the other one? Howie?
Mm-hmm, the Chinese one?
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother and his wife got the Hawaii smartphones for like $20, and I was like, it's not going to end well for you guys. I understand it's cheap, but you get what you pay for to a certain point in the smartphone area, and yeah, I spent a lot of time trying to make those suckers work. Part of it actually was that they wanted me to help flash it to a different OS so that it could work on the carrier that they wanted to use it on. That was a lot of fun.
Okay, sounds interesting.
And then as far as I know, they both lasted maybe about 6 months before they just broke, and that was it.
Well, I mean, replacing a phone every 6 months for $20 is way better than replacing like an Apple phone for $1,000 when you break it out of the box day one.
Yep, 100% true.
Which actually happened to a guy in Australia.
Oh yeah.
He was being interviewed for being the first person in like Australia to get his hands on an iPhone, and then he took it out of the box and immediately dropped it.
Wow. Broke the screen?
Shattered.
Oh man, that's horrific. Yeah. The other thing is, don't buy $1,000 phone if you can't afford to replace it right off the bat, because that stuff will happen. $1,000 phone, ridiculous.
Yep.
I won't spend more than $300.
I'm not sure how much I'm paying for mine. I know it comes with like the plan.
Oh, you're doing one of those pay-as-you-go things.
Well, I mean, I'm paying, I think it's $85 a month all up. And I know after, I think it's a year and a half, I can get it like the latest Samsung, and it just like renews the contract for that much.
Right. So you're kind of leasing a little bit?
I think when I can get the new one, I get to keep the old one. So it's like rent to buy.
Yeah.
Rent to own or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think about it. I don't think about it. I'm just like, what do you need me to sign? Is it a .exe file?
No? Okay then. I will sign. Yeah, in America for a long time, you just paid the price of the phone straight up, and then your monthly bill was just for the service. And then phones started getting more and more expensive, and nobody in America has $1,000 to actually just plunk down on a phone. I mean, average saving in America, I think, is like $100. Like, on average, it's real bad.
Yeah, it's real bad. But I bet you there's at least 1% of Americans that can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And when you say the average is low, it means there are some outliers that can absolutely throw down $1,000 without blinking.
So I think after my contract is up, if I choose not to renew, I can keep the phone and then go for a much cheaper plan where it's just the
service.
Just the service, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Makes sense. Back when I worked for Apple, it was, I don't know, the iPhone 4. So it was a couple $100. It was pretty cheap. And you could fold it into your service if you wanted. Not a lot of people did, though. And they just bought the phone straight up. And then as the price got higher and higher and higher, it wasn't really an option anymore. And people were more than happy to pay more for their service over time than have to buy the phone up outright. Technological history with Summicron and Falcon. Mm-hmm. That's what you're here for. The history of technology.
It's a long list.
It is. I mean,
I'm glad we skipped to the near present.
Me too. To start with, like, fire.
Do you think fire counts as a technology?
Fire is technology. Absolutely.
Is it though?
The ability to create fire whenever you want 100% changed
Okay.
the life of humans more than anything else.
A flint, right? Like a flint rocks. That's technology. The fire itself is not technology.
Rubbing two sticks together.
Yeah,
to create
technology.
Fire.
But the fire, yes. But I'm asking: is the fire itself technology?
It is created by humans for the betterment of human life. Therefore, yes.
No, because fires are created naturally as well. I don't think.
Yeah, electricity is a naturally occurring thing too, and if we create it for ourselves, it's great.
I wouldn't argue that the electricity is technology either.
What?
The creation of electricity is, but the electricity and the fire itself is not.
Okay, so the spit is technology, but the
Yes.
fire that is roasting the food on the spit, you would not count as technology.
No.
All right. Yeah, fair enough. I think I'm with you on that one. It's still,
Okay.
still, the ability to create electricity and ability to create fire probably are the two most influential things in human history at this point.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, but not an invention. It's a discovery?
Yeah, it's a discovery.
How to do something. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good. Glad we're on the
Like,
same
could you
page.
imagine if you had to pay rights to someone because they invented cooking?
I can see a world in which that happened.
I don't know. I don't think that could happen.
Copyright an action. Not really, no. You can kind of trademark, like, professional wrestlers kind of have trademarked entrances and moves and stuff? And if you just went out there and did exactly what The Rock did, like, you'd probably hear from his lawyers.
Right, but that's a performance piece. It's not fundamental to our existence.
But it's actions.
But
I'm
it's
just
a
clarifying.
performance.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Okay, like, whatever The Rock's signature wrestling move was, right? He's not going to sue you if you do that while, like, punching a guy in the face, right? You're like, punch, punch, punch. I'm The Rock. You're not going to hear a letter from him. It's if you film it, record it, and publicize it.
And, like, try to make money off of it. It's kind of a fair use thing, is what you're saying.
No.
No?
Yeah. No, fair use is where you adapt something. You turn it into a critique. It's fair use because you're adapting something and you're not just repackaging it and just shipping it along.
No. Fair use is repurposing somebody else's intellectual property in a way that does not benefit yourself monetarily, usually in an educational way.
Okay, I don't think anything The Rock does can have the word intellectual. Okay, not in a wrestling ring of all places, okay?
Hey now. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is the next president of the United States. You watch yourself.
No, let's not go there.
He is.
Okay. To be fair, you said the next, not the one who's going to have the next term. So, maybe. Although, isn't Kanye running? What I'm trying to say is I'm betting for re-election is what's probably going to happen. 2 times.
I don't know. I don't know if President Trump is going to get there, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, fingers crossed.
One of those ways. But yes, enough politics. I'm just saying, Dwayne The Rock Johnson is going to be president of the United States at some point. He's too darn handsome. He's too charismatic. He's too likable by too many people in the United States. And especially, like, here's the thing. He can get the Trump voters because he can talk a big game. He can just be The Rock at rallies and in speeches and in the debates. And they'll be like, yes, this is a powerful man. We want him in office.
I'm so fundamentally annoyed that you're right.
I understand how this works. I've been paying attention.
I want to make the argument that someone who couldn't, in any possible sense of the word, realistically be qualified for the job could get that position, but that would obviously be a lie.
No. The qualifications to be president at this point are, do enough people vote for you? That's literally all it is.
And are you a U.S. citizen?
Yeah, well, that too. I don't think we can get past that one at this point. But yeah, no, The Rock, like, okay, so there's The Rock. He just shows that face to the South and to Texas and to Middle America and people that are WWE fans, and they flood to the polls to vote for that guy. And then for the rest of the country, we get the thoughtful Dwayne Johnson, who dresses nicely and is handsome and has a nice smile and remembers people's names and kisses babies and stuff like that. He can totally pull this off.
I can't believe you managed to find a topic of conversation where I am going to be backing the intelligence and integrity of the American voters in suggesting that they want a candidate who is capable of running that job.
Okay, but you're wrong, so...
I know I'm wrong. That's why I'm annoyed.
Donald Trump has opened the floodgates for this.
I know. I don't... It's not that I have anything against The Rock, okay? I just don't think... He has no experience in the position of politics.
No. In fairness, neither did Arnold Schwarzenegger when he got elected to governor of California.
Yeah, but that's... governor.
Governor of California is bigger than like 30% of the countries on Earth. By population, by GDP, by any measure, it's a country, effectively.
Yeah, and I'm sure they would like to have it that way as well. But
Some.
although I did hear a thing where they're going to try and divide it into 5 new states. I'm not sure how that's going to work. It's going to really break the flag.
It's going to break a lot of stuff. I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I don't think it'll happen either. What I mean by it's just the mayor of California, right? Or the governor. Was he the governor or the mayor? I think the mayor's of a city, governor of the state.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Governor.
Okay.
Governor of California for a long time.
Right, yeah. But doesn't affect me, right? The president on an international scale affects Australia. Arnold, he might have done poorly, might have done okay. Just affects California. It didn't really have much of an impact on me. That's what I care about here.
No, it did not. True enough. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I mean, especially at this point where Trump's approval rating is low, a lot of people are just like, can we just get someone who can act like an adult in the office? The Rock clears that hurdle. He can act like an adult. That's all it takes, honestly, for a lot of people to be like, yes, please get this man in office.
Yeah, maybe.
And I mean, on a demographic level, because that matters for elections, he's not white, but at the same time, doesn't threaten the people who will only vote for a white candidate because he's The Rock and they love him so much. There's just so many ways this works.
Here's the thing. I don't see colors like you. Okay?
I don't either, but for the election, it certainly matters. Every political opportunist in the country understands the importance of racial identity. It's stupid, but it's a thing.
He went by Flex Kavana in the ring.
Sure, why not? So his grandpa was a wrestler, Fanini Peter Anderson, and he is American Samoan.
Okay.
So that is The Rock's heritage. He actually moved to New Zealand, according to his Wikipedia page. That's cool.
New Zealand's a great place to live if you have a lot of money.
It is.
Because everything is super expensive.
But he started his wrestling career in New Zealand. That's weird.
American Samoa is another one of those places where it's like, American citizens live there. American citizens that can't vote in a federal election.
Yep. See also Puerto Rico.
Guam.
And Guam and the Virgin Islands.
And the District of Columbia.
Yes, that one I think I'm okay with. They're just
Why?
It's the seat of the federal government. There's too much going on there for the federal government. It's just they're voting for themselves effectively.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is that everyone's voting for themselves.
Yeah.
But there's more people living there than some of the other states.
Yep. True. For example, Wyoming. Here, I've put this in the Discord before, but we should put this in the show notes. This GQ story absolutely convinced me that it's entirely possible for The Rock to be president.
I'm sure he will be. I have no doubt.
I'll vote for him. Heck yeah. I'll be excited to vote for him. I've been excited to vote for anybody in a long time. Anyway, moving on to less political, more nerdy things. So did you get that PlayStation 4? Remember there was a story where you came into some money maybe and it was exactly enough for a PlayStation 4?
No, neither of those things have happened.
Oh, bummer.
I didn't come into some money, and neither would the amount be exactly enough for a PlayStation.
What?
The amount is at this point undisclosed, and probably the end of next month.
So it
is like the time frame for that.
Could be enough for a PlayStation is what you're telling me.
It could be enough. It could be more than enough. It could be just under. Who knows?
So how soon will we know?
The end of next month.
All right. It's going to be a while.
Yeah.
We'll be sure to check in on that from time to time.
I'm so glad you're referencing conversations we had elsewhere for this podcast. It's a really good listening experience.
Ah, dang it. Well, we're just trying to bring people into the whole relationship that is the Falcon and the Wade, which spans Twitch and Discord and the podcast and all sorts of places all the time.
Stardew, WoW.
Stardew and WoW. Well, I mean, that's Twitch, but Stardew's not.
Oh, I mean, we haven't played anything else on Twitch in like 6 months.
True fact.
True fact.
Has the WoW really been 6 months? No, it hasn't.
I pulled that number out of thin air.
Okay, good.
Let me check.
No, because it came out in like August.
The new one, but we played a bunch of Legion.
Oh, we did do some Legion before we started the Battle for Azeroth. True fact.
True fact. Okay, your VODs don't go back that far. I forget VODs only go back for a month because you do not put them anywhere else.
Nope. I have started doing that though. I figured I can just hit record in Streamlabs OBS and it will record it and stream it at the same time and it looks pretty good.
Oh, you figured that out, did you?
I did. You told me to do it, but I had to figure out exactly how it worked. So give me some credit. Jeez. I mean, to be fair, I tried doing it previously when I had a worse video card and a worse processor. Actually, it's the same video card. Worse processor. And it was a horrible thing.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. But now with a good PC and 8700K i7, it's no sweat. It will record and stream. Doesn't skip a beat. So
Excellent.
I'm going to go ahead. I mean, by the time you see this, you'll have seen me post some of the Brood War campaign stuff on the YouTube channel.
Nice.
And we'll see if that gets any attention at all.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Speaking of StarCraft, I hear a certain player is returning.
I've heard something about Bomber?
No. I showed you a video with Scarlet Bomber.
Yes.
That was earlier today or yesterday. No, what I'm talking about is the return of Tasia.
What? Now there's a name I haven't heard in a long time. .gif.
Yeah. So Tasia's coming back apparently.
When did he? When did he go?
I don't know. I do
To
not know.
Liquipedia. He has a really long Liquipedia page. So the last thing he competed in was DreamHack Open Winter 2014. He got beat by Life 3-2. About 4 years ago at this point. Jeez, dude.
Okay, he can still play.
MLG Pro Circuit Champion 2012. Asus StarCraft 2 Champion ROG Summer 2012. Same thing, Summer 2013. DreamHack Open Valencia Champion 2012. Yeah, man, Tasia.
Oh, I think he just ended his military service. That's why he's coming back.
But it's been 4 years. Military service isn't 4 years.
It's 2, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was 2.
So he left for a bit and then had military, and now he's back.
I think he has the longest Liquipedia page I've seen from anybody in a very long time.
It's pretty long.
Like, in fairness, I haven't looked at flashes, but this is insane.
I always like looking at the trivia of players. For instance, his ID Tasia means heir apparent in Korean.
Ooh, that's a good name. At least until you become the guy, in which case it sounds kind of weird at that point. Right? It's like the next best thing. You're winning major victory after major victory, and it's like, So, in fairness, Liquipedia says that he retired in 2016 of June.
Okay.
So, it doesn't seem like it's... Maybe retirement is just their way to say he went to the military and he's going to come back. It's weird to say retirement if it's just kind of a temporary thing, though.
Yeah, it's a little strange, but what can you do?
See, here's... there we go. June 6, 2016, Team Liquid's co-founder Victor Gusens Nazgul announced that Tasia had finally decided once and for all and with absolute certainty to retire.
Yes.
This marks the end of Tasia's almost 6-year-long StarCraft 2 career, leaving him the most decorated player in Premier tournaments to date. But then it goes to June 2018 and says on June 18th, announced on Twitter that Tasia had gotten the permission to play in the 2018 GSL Season 3 qualifiers, despite not yet having fully completed his military service. What the crap, dude?
He came back off the military, that's all.
Well, I know, but why would you say you're retired when you're going into the military? If you need to take a break, just take a break and then decide what you want to do when you're done.
Maybe that's the way the Koreans use the word retire. Like, I must retire to the study.
Must retire to the Korean military. It's a weird place to retire to. Not very relaxing, I assume.
Hey, who knows? Maybe it is.
Would they ever put any of their StarCraft 2 heroes at risk in the military of anything, like even a training accident? Can you imagine being the commander who like messed up in something and Tasia broke his hands? Like, you'd probably get murdered.
Probably, yeah. I mean, didn't they for a while there have a branch of the military that had an esports team just so pro players could play while doing their military service?
That's really stupid. But, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Why not? Because, seriously, if you're the reason that Tasia or Polt or Beyond or any of these guys don't come back, you will get assassinated.
It's called Air Force Ace, the esports team.
Is it still a thing?
I don't know. I'm still looking.
Well, I haven't heard anything about that. I assume no.
Its current roster contains 11 players, so theoretically, it's a Brood War team.
You know what I need to do? I need to cast some Tasia games for the channel. I will download some replays right now.
Hype it up that it's coming back.
Yeah, it'll be great. As long as they can load in the current build of StarCraft 2, which I'm not sure they can. Because you found me that Fruit Dealer replay. Remember that? And
Yeah.
the game was like, no.
No way, buddy.
Just
Go
straight
home.
up no. Like, we're not even going to try.
That's unfortunate. Okay, so I went to player results for Air Force Ace, and they have one result from Boxer in 2007.
That's the whole thing?
Oh, no, not Boxer, Savior. My apology. Yeah, that's the only thing that shows.
All right. Well, doesn't seem like it was a real thing then. That's exciting, though. Tasia. Interested to see how he will do. It kind of seems like... I don't know. I guess Maru came back and he's kicking butt, so he's the example at this point. There's examples of both, but not to the point where... Right, if it's a situation where nobody came back and did well at all, then I'd be worried, but I don't know. I think he'll be okay.
Yeah,
It's a good name, too. It just rolls off.
it's a good word, Tasia.
Tasia. Well, that's fantastic news. So, in other StarCrafty news, I was looking at Cyril's Liquipedia page,
Okay.
and I saw the GSL versus the World event from... earlier this year. I'm not sure exactly when it was. I can't remember. So basically, Maru and Cyril drafted players onto their team. They both ended up with a few Koreans and a few foreigners. And in the end, Cyril's team won. So
Yes.
if you go through his list, let's see, I'm gonna click here real quick. If you go through his list of earnings over the year, it's like $10,000 for taking second place in Jönköping, $20,000 for Leipzig, $20,000 for Austin, $40,000 for winning WESG, $20,000 for Valencia, $20,000 for WCS Montreal. Then you click on GSL versus the world, and it's like $800 because the prize pool was 26,000 US dollars, but split among everybody on the team.
Well, no. That's just for the team game, right? There was GSL versus the world, and then the team game. He won 2 tournaments. Team Cyril won the team game, and just Cyril won the tournament. So the team game had a separate prize pool.
Okay.
He won $26,000 to himself, and then there was like an additional, I think, $7,000 that got divided by the team.
Oh, that's what's going on. I was throwing those together.
Yeah, because it's main event and then team game when you're in the Wikipedia page for it.
Oh, there's tabs.
Yeah.
The tabs got me. Main event statistics. Cyril, 13-4. Good crap, dude.
Scary dude.
So scary. Zess is like 1-3.
Here's a better stat, I think. If you go to esportsearnings.com and look up Cyril, he has won $189,975.18 this year, which is 63.27% of all StarCraft prize pools for this year.
Insane.
He's won 63% of all the money available in StarCraft this year. That is insane.
Yep, that's pretty dumb. Pretty dominant. And if you look at the whole list, he's like the 40th highest paid esports player in the world.
According to the entire list, he's 263 in the world, but every game. So I don't know.
Oh.
Like, you just looking at StarCraft?
The heck list was I looking at? No, it was just, I just went to esportsearnings.com and the front page has a ranking. And Cyril's there at number 40.
Number 40?
Uh-huh.
Number 40 is Ice Ice Ice. It's a Dota 2 player. Highest overall earnings?
Link. This is recent. Oh, this is just recent player earnings. That's what I'm looking at. Can't do it anymore. So the front page doesn't even show overall. You just have to go to...
Click on players in the tab at the top.
Players' highest overall earnings. Ah, okay. There we go. And yeah, he's not even in the first 100.
No, he's not even in the first 200.
Wait.
He's 260 something, yeah.
Yeah, it is all Dota 2, man. Holy crap. First 51 are Dota 2.
Yep.
$4 million in lifetime earnings for this German guy?
Yeah.
Shoot. He has won many events, but he has never won the International. In 2017, his childhood dream would come true, and he would win the International. Good writing there.
I do like that there is an Australian at number 11th in highest overall.
Dota 2
also
player.
a Dota 2 player. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I immediately don't care, but woo. Go Aussies.
Americans at 9 and 10. Woo! But check this out. It's Germany, it's Denmark, Jordan, Bulgaria, 2 Finns, and a Pakistani, and a Lebanese player for the first 8. That is not what I would expect to see in the top 8.
You expect Koreans?
No, I don't expect anybody to rank anywhere from Lebanon. That's crazy.
I would expect Koreans to be up near the top because I just associate them with being great at games. Like at esports in particular. Like they've got a competitive edge at something in the water. But no Koreans even show up till number 52.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's StarCraft. StarCraft is the Korean national sport.
Yeah. They do well at other ones.
Sure. But I'm just saying, it's like looking at America and saying, why aren't you good at soccer? It's like, well, there's other stuff going on. I don't really care.
Well, somebody evidently cares.
Yeah, some people do, but not enough that the U.S. can actually compete in the World Cup at all. Or, go to the World Cup this year.
World Cup, meh, don't talk about it. The highest earning players of Korean esports are all League of Legends players. The top 4 is League of Legends, and then Maru.
Wait.
So if you now filter by highest paid people for the Republic of Korea, it's League of Legends, StarCraft 2.
Huh.
And then a couple of Brood War, and then a Dota again, before you get to Rogue.
True fact.
But
Well, and it seems like just in general, MOBAs pay out more money than RTS games do.
yes, they do, because they're more popular in an international audience.
Probably a national audience too, at least as far as the US is concerned, and Australia.
Maybe. So you're about to start arguing that League of Legends was the national sport of Korea. I'm like, 2 seconds ago, you're flipping.
No, I mean, Korea's the outlier here. Korea latched on to StarCraft like no one else did for reasons we've kind of discussed already.
Yeah.
And it is their national sport. And there's not as much money in it than in the MOBAs.
True.
Yep. All right, good. Well, I'm glad Cyril actually got paid for winning GSL versus the world, because I was like, that's stupid that he split it, and that's all he got.
He had to split it like 6 ways.
Yeah, that'd be dumb. Didn't happen. Excellent. Guess what I ate today?
Tim Tams.
Tim Tams. I did.
Tim Tams.
Remember how I was like, I'm going to get regular type and mint?
Yeah.
That was a lie. I looked at him again and said, I want caramel. So I got caramel.
Caramel, yeah.
Yes, caramel. And
If you're going to eat Australian food, you got to use the word the Australian ways.
fair enough. Chewy caramel biscuits. And they're good.
They good?
They're good. The chocolate coating is good. The crunchy interior is good. The caramel is of decent quality.
Did you do the Tim Tam Slam, as it's apparently called?
I tried, but I think the caramel filling messes with it.
Yeah, I think that's why you need the original. Did you buy caramel as well, or
No, just
what about the choc mint?
cut that out too.
Okay,
But in doing some Googling, I did find there's a store locally that sells them.
excellent.
So
Would you make them a regular purchase?
I might. They're really good. They're very satisfying.
Fair enough.
I can understand why you put it at the top of your cookie list.
It's up there. After we recorded last week's podcast, I did my shopping online and I included a pack of Tim Tams.
Excellent.
I was like, you know what, I'll just have one of these, and then I ate the packet for dinner.
That's a good dinner right there. And by good, I mean no nutritional value whatsoever.
No, none. Absolutely none.
But you were happy, and that's all that matters.
Yes.
So yeah, Tim Tams. 2 thumbs up from both members of the pod, in case you were curious.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you Americans and Europeans are like, where do we find Tim Tams? There's places. Just look for international food stores or places that have food from other countries, and Tim Tams will be there.
Tim Tams will be there. They're pretty popular, so they get around.
Yeah, I was looking over in like the candy bar place in the store, and it was not there.
Not happening. Okay.
No. But apparently a place in town called Pyrotos has them. So
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm just looking at our geographical demographics. Most of our listeners are in like the States and Australia, so I think they're okay in getting Tim Tams then, apparently.
agreed. Very, very possible. Although, I don't know, there are large parts of America that are considered non-metropolitan. And I just feel like if you're from a mid-sized town in Oklahoma, your odds of having it locally is pretty low.
Well, no, but I mean, Amazon will still deliver there, right?
True. You can do Amazon.
Exactly.
Amazon is a blessing for our time.
Unless you happen to work there, apparently. Working conditions are apparently garbage.
Well, sure, that's true for everything, though. Every company is a blessing for us unless you work there, in which case it is garbage.
Sure. I mean, my working conditions aren't bad.
Well, you're in Australia, though. I'm talking about America.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We really don't care about working conditions. I mean, that said, there are a lot of countries that are so much worse than America is.
Yeah, maybe. I was watching a show on Netflix, a new show called Maniac, I think, or Manic.
I've heard of this. I think it's Maniac.
Maniac. I think it's Maniac. I'm gonna have to look it up. It's got Emma Stone in it.
Okay, I like Emma Stone.
Yeah, Maniac. And who's the I don't want to describe him as like the fat guy from Superbad, and The Wolf of Wall Street.
Jonah Hill?
Jonah Hill. Yeah, it's got skinny Jonah Hill in it.
Oh, baby Jonah Hill. That's adorable.
And it's super weird, right? there was a scene where he's like, he lives in New York and he's sitting like at the waterfront, and apparently you guys like in the future are going to tear down the Statue of Liberty and replace it with a statue for additional liberty, is how it's, the line is delivered, and it's like an angelic figure wielding a sword.
And it's called Additional Liberty?
Yeah, I think that's how they
kind
described
of
it.
genius. I like that a lot. It's directed by Cary Fukunaga. That's amazing.
I don't know who that is.
Amazing TV director. Did some True Detective stuff.
Okay.
Anyway.
Also, apparently in this fictional world, you can pay for things with like AdBuddy. So it's like, I'll pay for it like by watching ads. Except ads now employ people, and those people will come and sit with you while you're on the train because you couldn't afford a train ticket, and then read ads to you.
Doesn't seem very viable as a strategy.
But apparently you can like run up credit as much as you want, to the point where someone's like, hey, could I use ad money to buy a bus ticket to Salt Lake and then a hotel and stuff? And I'm like, well, you'd have to watch plenty of ads and I'd have to come with you. But yeah.
That is interesting.
It's an interesting method of employing people to deliver you ads.
Yep.
It's super weird.
It is.
I don't know if I like this show yet.
So I found a Wired article that calls it the most Netflixy Netflix show yet, in a bad way. Oh.
In a bad way. Ooh.
Yeah.
I am only an episode and a half in. It could be bad.
So Jonah Hill's character is super depressed. Super depressed. At one point he confesses, you know that movie, It's a Wonderful Life? If that happened to me, there'd be no difference in the world. Aww.
I haven't seen that movie. I don't get the reference.
So It's a Wonderful Life is a super old school movie, black and white, from like the 50s. Bottom line is there's this guy, George, and he has a family, but he's a failure. He's been laid off from his job, and the bank's going to take his house, and yada, yada, yada. So he goes to a bridge to jump off, and then an angel shows up, and his name is Clarence. And Clarence says, don't do it. The town will be worse off without you. And George is like, I don't believe you. And then he shows him an alternate reality where George doesn't exist, and it sucks, and it changes his mind. And then he goes back, and he loves everybody, and he's a happier guy, but nothing's really changed. Like, I think he's still going to lose his house. It's a very interesting ending.
Okay.
That's the basic
I kind
concept.
of get it.
Yeah. And it's okay. So it's old school movies, which means they don't understand the concept of having people talk one at a time. There are so many scenes where there's just a room full of people and everybody's talking at the same time and you're supposed to follow conversations and it's impossible. These were my takeaways from the movie. You should see if you can find it. It's a good Christmas movie.
Okay.
It's a wonderful
maybe.
life.
Probably not.
Probably not. We'll talk about it on the Christmas episode.
Maybe. I have recently, almost very nearly, I'm actually waiting until after I've seen the My Hero Academia movie to finish the series, because the series went episode 1 to like 22 just being like its premise, right? And then like something flips and it's crazy nonsense. So I'm worried that if I finish the last 2 episodes, I won't be able to concentrate on My Hero Academia. The show is called Future Diary.
Oh, yeah. No, you told me about that.
Yeah. Okay, so when I got to like around episode 20, I was like, man, this is actually a really good show. I could probably recommend it to Falcon. And then they had time travel come in.
And you said, rats.
And I said, rats. And then I thought about it for a second, and it's like, wait, no, the way that they've done time travel is it's okay, because they're not actually changing things. There's no paradoxes happening and stuff like that.
How, though?
Well, yeah, I can't tell you that without spoiling it. Fine. And I was like, sweet, this is great. And then they immediately did it in a way that makes paradoxes.
Don't. I'm telling you, time travel cannot be done.
Well, okay. The premise of the show is kind of like your time travel, where it's only forwards.
Ooh, okay, good.
So the premise of the show is there's 12 people with diaries, which happen to be their phones or like a voice recorder for someone who's blind, that will tell them like what's going to happen in a particular sense.
Yeah, we've talked about this.
Yeah, but I don't think we have on the podcast.
No, so continue. Yep.
Like someone has a diary that's called the escape diary, and it'll always update and tell her new ways to escape from wherever she is. So she can't ever be pinned. And other people have like a case diary because he's a cop, and it'll give him updates on what's going to happen in the investigation before they happen.
That's so handy.
It is so handy until you stop being a cop, and then it's like, well, you don't have access to that information anymore.
Dope.
There are a couple of diaries that are like that, where it's like, well, you still have it, you just don't get to read anything anymore, sorry. They're dependent on something. Like the main character, his diary is called the Indiscriminate Diary, and it basically tells him the future of anything he can see, like anything, because he's an observer. He like used to just wander around recording things.
Yeah.
Being like, so-and-so met at the bus stop at 2, but always left himself out, so he can't tell what he's going to do or needs to do. But it also makes him susceptible to false information if he thinks he sees something but he didn't. So people like learn to use that against him. It's a really great show, and I'm worried that the ending will be like mind-blowing.
In a bad way?
In a bad way. I don't mind the like paradoxes with time travel so much, but I'm failing to see a great ending that I'm going to be satisfied with at the moment.
Well, let's have some hope.
Hope, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
You should watch it, but stop it around episode 20.
But I can't do that. I have to finish stuff. We've talked about this.
Maybe you'll look at it the same way I did when you get there, or just don't start. I don't know. It's up to you.
It is on the Crunchyroll. That's easy. So guess what I was doing while you were talking?
Downloading the first episode.
I was looking for My Hero Academia movie times. Because it opens here tomorrow, actually.
Oh. Ooh.
And so I selected the time tomorrow, one of 2 available times.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to select my seats because it's reserved seating.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing was sold out.
Are you surprised?
Yes.
It's My Hero Academia.
Well, sure. But I know one other person.
How can you be surprised that it's selling out? I really...
I don't know. I don't see people walking around with My Hero Academia shirts and talking about it at all. And again, I know one other person in the entire 100-mile range of the Wasatch Front that cares about My Hero Academia.
Well, you know what? Turn up to the theater anyway and make friends.
I certainly will. Actually, there are
other showings. I was gonna ask, does your wife like My Hero Academia?
So we watched the first season together, and I thought we were enjoying it. But then she was like, I don't care anymore, and bailed.
Ah.
Kind of bummed me out.
Yeah, new wife time.
But then we watched BoJack together, and it was okay.
Is it though?
My Hero Academia is really good. Oh, English subtitled. No, that's what I want. Sorry. My brain did something weird.
Wait, you thought it was going to be in English and subtitled?
Yes, I did.
For hearing impaired? Yeah.
Holy crap, it sold out for Wednesday too.
Here's the thing. I'm going to go see it on Thursday, but I've also, I took Friday off work because it's kind of on in the afternoon, and I'm going to go see it. But I know it's also playing right through to Monday. So if it's really good and I want to go see it again, I still have time to see it twice before the podcast.
Ooh.
Next week.
That would be good. Have a lot of information. Okay. I found a showing on Wednesday at 10 p.m. that has available seats. I had no idea it was going to be this crazy. Makes me happy, though.
It should.
Ooh, speaking of Avatar The Last Airbender, which you referenced slightly there, there's a new Netflix show called The Dragon Prince that's by some of the same creators as The Last Airbender.
Yes, I did hear about this.
And my kids have been watching it, and I think I need to go back and just watch the whole thing because it looks really good.
Well, what's it called? The Dragon Prince?
Prince. Yeah.
The Dragon Prince, yes. Excellent.
Yeah, and it's good. So there is one thing that it's minorly spoilery, but not really. So it's classic humans and elves, blah, 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 fantasy, blah, 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 dragons. And the one elf character that I've met so far has a Scottish accent.
Okay.
And it weirds me out because I'm like, well, Lord of the Rings has taught me that dwarves have Scottish accents, not elves. What is happening here? And it's just jarring every time she opens her mouth. I'm like, wait, what? Who? How, what? Why?
Who are you again?
Yeah.
So I can see that being a problem for me.
It is. I think it's a problem. And I can see the response being, well, duh, elves are made up. Why is there any standard on how they're supposed to sound? I don't know. There is one. There's just a standard, okay?
Yeah.
So a great character. I like her a lot. She's interesting. But every time she opens her mouth, I'm like, that doesn't fit at all. You should watch it.
I'm going to.
Okay.
You know what I'm realizing, though? I cannot buy my tickets for...
What? For My Hero Academia? Why?
Oh, no, I can.
Oh, crisis averted.
That scared me a little bit.
What?
I was like, are they just going to have people show up for the showing?
You thought nobody could pre-purchase?
Yeah, that's what it looked like. It looked like it's like, hey, you can't buy these online. I'm like, what?
That doesn't make any sense. And then it didn't because you were wrong.
Because I was wrong. I do need to find out because I've got a mate gonna join me, see if he wants to come. But I gotta buy, because it's assigned seating. I need to buy 2 tickets, but I don't know if he's coming yet. I'm waiting for a phone call, which is annoying.
Oh, it's gonna get sold out, man. Can't wait on him. Get your tickets now. Leave him in the dust.
I guess I'll buy 2 tickets and see if he turns up. If not, I'll offer them to my brother.
He's gonna eat the cost.
I'll put my popcorn in that seat.
Excellent. I've also been still watching Disenchanted.
Yeah?
Yep. I'm almost done with season 1. It's not that long.
Is it still like a drag?
This last episode was pretty good, actually. It's improved quite a bit. there's more of a focus of something they're trying to do, which I think helps.
Okay.
Whereas a lot of the previous episodes are like, Bean is a princess and she's bored. It's like, well, yes, I get that, but that's not a very good plot for a TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas this one actually has a goal they're trying to reach. So that's good. Anyway, I still want Lucy to be cool, but Lucy is not cool yet.
Lucy.
Yeah, the demon.
Is that thing's name really Lucy?
Huh?
Okay.
It's Lucy. And did I mention this on the pod last time? I don't think I did. Somebody on the Disenchanted subreddit got a Lucy tattoo.
Really?
Yeah, which I need Lucy to be more awesome before I think he merits a tattoo. So maybe he gets really cool in the last episode. But so far, no dice.
An entire season's worth of character development in 24 minutes?
Maybe. I just want him to be more evil. Like, he's supposed to be corrupting Bean, but Bean was already an alcoholic troublemaker when he showed up. And all he seems to do is be like, keep doing what you're doing. And she's like, you got it.
Do you have any tattoos?
I do not. I have no interest in tattoos.
Okay.
So I didn't get any responses to the tell us about your terrible ladder adventures, unfortunately. But in fairness, the last podcast posted less than 24 hours ago. So I thought I would share some of my ladder adventures.
Okay. I mean, to be fair, you did give people 2 weeks.
I did, but I feel like people are going to come here thinking there should be something. And there will be. I will share a ladder adventure I had today, as a matter of fact. So I queued up against a fellow Diamond 3 Terran player. And a lot of the time I've been doing my little 3-base Baneling bust, but this time I said I'm going to play macro because macro is the right way to play, and I'll never climb up the ladder if I just try Baneling busting everybody because good players will scout and prepare for it. Fair enough, right? So I macro, and I manage to hold off his attacks. I don't really lose any drones in the first few minutes of the game. I end up going Mutalisk because he's trying some drop-heavy stuff. I wipe out his economy. I take him down to no SCVs. At one point, he gets a counterattack off with some Hellions and does kind of wipe out my natural base, but I still have a third base and I still have a main base. And I've killed his economy, to be fair, by wiping out all of my army as well and killing his and his economy.
Right, but that's okay because you're Zerg. You have a bank and you can instantly remax, right?
Didn't have a bank. I was spending my money too well, Wade.
Your macro is too good for this game.
Yes, I was too good. So then
You macro harder than
Mules happened, and he did some really good stuff to counter my bling bling muta thing. He had Widow Mines, he had Thors, he had Liberators. It was just really smart play by him. And ended up being a 27-minute game, and I barely lost in the end. Like, it was just down to this final battle. I couldn't quite hold off his final attack. He ended up with like a Thor and 6 Marines, but I didn't have anything left, and it was just like...
Ugh,
it was frustrating. So it was bad. So the next 2 turns I queued up against, I said, macro is for chumps. And I went for a proxy hatch into my opponent's natural base.
Very nice.
Which he responded to extremely poorly. I was planning on doing a proxy swarm host thing.
Okay.
Because that's one of the games from the Cheese compilation, which you haven't seen, but people who listen to this will have seen, it was like a Diamond 1 Master Level TVZ, and the dude got a proxy hatch down there, rushed to infestors back home, and then just threw wave after wave of locusts at the Terran player, and it was awesome. And I said, I'm going to do that. I didn't actually get there. Like, I threw a spine up, and the spine was kind of poking his stuff. And then I got some Zerglings in there because he lifted his barracks to avoid it getting poked, and I ran Lings in, and then he quit. And I was like, aw. It was a little anticlimactic.
Right.
And then the next time I played a Terran player, I decided to go for a Roach Queen Nidus all-in, despite not knowing the exact build timings of this build at all. But that one worked too.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
So what I've basically learned is that macro is for chumps. And in fact, I just need to have a library of cheesy, weird play against Terran. And it will be a better time for everybody.
You can be the Haas of Zerg.
I can. Who is the Haz of Zerg?
Bly.
I think it's Bly?
Yeah. Who else would you? Who do you think?
Cats?
Cats doesn't play at a high enough level.
No, he doesn't. Well, it's just because Zerg macro is really good, and if you're good at it, it's really good, and if you're bad at it, it's not as good.
Right.
But it's just what I'm saying is it's super viable to just go macro, and if you're good at it, you're going to win a ton of games. There's no real reason to go for the cheese as Zerg in any matchup these days.
I think the reasons for going cheese in any race is the same as any race. It's because you don't want to macro.
Okay, well, if that's the reason, then where's the Zerg player who doesn't want a macro? Where are they, Wade?
Masters 1. Diamond 3. Where are you at again?
D3? Yeah.
That's where they are.
Grumble, grumble. So what does that say? Like, can you... But it just seems like Protoss is the cheesy race. Like, you got printf, who cannon rushed his way to GM. Like, you just don't have stories of Zerg players 12 pooling their way to GM. It just doesn't happen.
You gave 2 references. Like, that's 2 players. And you're like, but where's my Zerg 1 or 2? It's like, there's players that do that. They're just not, I don't know, good at it, I guess. They're not as good as Haz or printf.
So you're saying there are players who are trying to do what Haz and printf are doing, but there is not a Zerg player on the planet who is as good as Haz is at doing what he does, or as good at printf is as what he does.
Well, there is no Zerg that is as good as cannon rushing as printf. Yes, that is what I'm saying.
Like, I just searched right now 12 pool to GM, and there is a video from December 2017.
Okay, so why don't you make that video? Why don't you try and get to GM just by 12 pooling? Be the guy.
I don't want to. 12 pooling's boring. Proxy hatch is a lot more fun.
Fine, proxy hatch to GM.
That might actually be very interesting. It wouldn't work against Zerg very well.
Okay.
So I'm looking at this dude's video, and it's Spanish or French or something. I don't actually know what language this is. It feels like Spanish or Portuguese or something, though. Bronze GM number 5. Wait, okay, so this is just a bronze to GM series. It doesn't say he actually ever got there. Hang on.
So he versed the GM as a bronze?
No. He started at bronze, and his goal was to make it all the way to GM doing this.
Oh, but he never actually...
Like, I'm trying to figure out if he did or not. I thought the video was straight up like, here's me doing it. Here's a compilation of me doing it.
Wow, this guy puts out more videos than you. He put out 4 videos today already.
Really? I don't see. Oh, hold on. Not in the right place. Holy crap. Well, they're all 5 minutes. So, content.
Well, one of them's 20. And quality versus quantity. If it's, I'd rather have 5 quality videos that are all 5 minutes long than one crummy compilation that's an hour and 20.
Fair enough. What are you trying to say about my compilations?
I haven't seen any of them in like 3 weeks, so I couldn't testify. I haven't had the time to watch them.
Oh.
But I'm getting there.
All right. The Haz Kelliser series is amazing if you missed that one.
I will go back and watch that. Probably not today, but I will watch that one.
It's got Kelliser in there. You like Kelliser.
I do like Kelliser, but I also have to work tonight.
Right. Right. Fair enough. So yeah, well, from near as I can tell here, he did start a bronze to GM 12 pool series, but I don't think he got close. So
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think it's doable. I just don't think it's nearly as viable as cannon rushing is.
Maybe it isn't.
I mean, Grandmaster by 6 pooling, there's some discussion about that back in 2011 when Wings of Liberty was the deal.
Right.
And he started with 5 workers, but yeah, here's this guy, Bad Habit. He claims he made it to GM 6 pooling back in 2011. So what's the difference between this and 12 pooling, I wonder? Maybe 12 pooling is too new. Maybe somebody's still
6
working
workers.
on it.
That's the difference between 6 pools and 12 pools.
Good dad joke.
Someone had to go there. Yeah, I don't know if it's easier or not. And I don't think it necessarily matters if it is or isn't.
All right.
I think people like printf have a mindset that just is going to carry them through like the difficulties that cheesing every game can come with.
Right.
I think most people who are going to say, I'm going to cheese every game, would do it under a barcode, right? Printf goes, no, that's silly, because then your opponent isn't as playing as well as they could, and that means you don't get as good practice. So he does it under his name, right? That's the appropriate way to ladder under a cheesy account, right? Is to do it under a name.
Then on the other hand, other side of things, you have, well, I won't name names, but anyway.
You have what?
You have other players who do cheesy stuff under barcodes because they don't want people to know what's coming.
Yeah, because they don't want them to be like, they're okay. So if you look at it at like a high level, when a pro goes into a match, he doesn't want his opponent to at that particular moment to know that he's doing a cheese, but you still want to be effectively a good cheeser.
Yep.
How do you get become a good cheeser if people are playing poorly against it. That's not good practice.
Just because they don't know what's coming doesn't mean they play poorly against it.
Well, no, but once you get high enough in the ladder, they should be able to play against it properly.
Yeah.
If they know it's coming.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what Haz is doing right now, right? You know there's a very good chance he's going to proxy something against you.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's still winning.
And he's still winning. Yep.
Sort of.
More than he's losing, I think.
I don't know. Maybe. When was the last thing he won?
Haz?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's been a while.
I mean, he got to Cyril at Valencia. But he didn't win.
He did not, because Cyril is a god among men.
Yeah.
Well, I'll keep looking. I'll see if I can find somebody who made it all the way to GM12 pooling.
Okay. You do that.
Okay, deal. Homework acquired. All right, well, I think that's it for this edition of the Falcon Paladin Hour, unless you have something else you'd like to discuss.
You don't need a minute?
I mean, fine. I'll take a minute.
Hey, man, I'm not looking to do you any favors.
I'll take it.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
I think this might be the year the Patriots actually kind of start to suck, you guys. They got beat by the Lions yesterday, 26-10, which is just bananas. Of course, by the time you hear this, the Patriots will have played another game, and maybe they'll look awesome. We do this every year, it feels like. September rolls around, Patriots look bad. People write them off, and then they show up later and make it to the playoffs and like the Super Bowl and stuff. But I don't know. I don't know about this year. Gronk doesn't look right. Brady looks old. He doesn't have any other weapons really to throw to or to run with. Cooks is gone. It's just a messed up situation in New England, which is fine. Nobody is crying about the Patriots finally falling apart if they are. In other news, the Steelers squeaked one out over the Buccaneers. That was an interesting result. Steelers looked like crap. Buccaneers looked pretty amazing recently. Saints beat the Falcons 43-37. Another high-scoring game there. But the story is Mahomes. For the Chiefs, 38 points versus the 49ers, 3 touchdowns after looking fairly anemic through first 2 quarters. He came out on fire with some just highlight touchdown passes. He is the future of the league for sure. And then the Bills beat up on the Vikings too, and another surprising score, 27-6. Nobody saw that coming, but that's why we watch the NFL.
I mean, that's why you watch the NFL.
Yes. And for the multitudes of other people who watch the NFL and just wait for the NFL Minute every Falcon Paladin Hour.
You know what? I should definitely recategorize this podcast as a sports podcast.
You should.
I'm sure iTunes would love that.
You think they would notice? You think somebody would actually go through and listen to it and be like, wait a second, they spent forever talking about video games?
Nope, they definitely wouldn't.
No, probably not.
Someone might eventually report it for being... But no one at Apple or anything. Just gonna do that.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. All right, we're done. Thanks again for listening. Please check out the merch if you're interested in getting a mug or a hoodie or anything along those lines. And until next time, as always, thanks for listening, and you take care of yourself.